So sometimes landlords have existing renters or tenants, and they're like, wouldn't it be great to get a property management firm in here? So, Janine, on a previous video, you talked about tenant screening. But if an owner has a tenant in place or an existing renter, can they bring a professional property management firm like yourself in at that time?
Yeah, absolutely, Rob. We can work with owners that have tenants in place that are looking to turn their property management over to us. And that goes for owners that have either been self-managing and have decided for whatever reason they don't want to do that anymore. And also we get owners that are coming over from other property management companies sometimes. They're just transitioning to a different property management company. And so we do the same things as far as the owner onboarding, but there's a few more steps that we require when there are what we would call tenants in place. So
Mm-hmm.
first thing we need to look at is the lease. We need to make sure that the lease meets our standards, and if there's anything that needs to be amended in the lease, there needs to be an addendum for something like that. So that's the first thing we check. We also need to make sure of the payment history of the tenants. We make sure that we have at least 6 months worth of payment on time and in full. We do not want to take on problem tenants. Unfortunately, I have had owners sometimes contact me and, my tenant hasn't been paying for 5 months. Can you guys take on the property? And it's no,
Mm.
the tenant, you need to get the tenant out of there. Then we can take on the property and make sure this doesn't happen to you again. Um,
Mm-hmm.
we also would like any inspection reports that have been done. So, from our perspective, if we take on a property and the tenant's already been in there 6 months, we are managing the property from the date that we take it on. So, that 6 month date. So, for us, when we do the move out inspection, yeah, we can only assess damages on the tenant for what we've seen from the time we took it on till the end, unless we have a very detailed move-in inspection that we can have, so that we can also compare that to the move-out inspection.
Okay.
Lastly, what we'd like, if we can get any work orders that have been done or maintenance that's been done while the tenants are there. Again, that's for our records to make sure that we have that information.
So those work orders, if they had a previous property management firm, will they transition those or send those to a new property management
Uh,
firm, or the owner has to request them?
So we have the owners let the prior company know that they're going to be transitioning to us, and then we request these specific documents. And most other property management companies are happy to work with us to get that information on behalf of the owner. But that does bring up one tip I'd like to say. If you are using another property management company and you're considering changing property management companies, just make sure you take a look at your property management agreement and you know what the termination clause is, and so that you're not surprised in there for whatever that termination clause is, whether there is a fee or penalties or anything like that. Just make sure you take a look at that and you know beforehand.
Know the contract. Know the
Yes.
contract. So basically, if an owner has been self-managing or they have another property management firm, they can absolutely transition to a firm like Circle Property Management, but a lot of steps involved.